Alright guys, hopefully I can get through this video. I have a massive pain in my eye. There's like a lot of pressure behind it. It's all swollen up. I had this infection like a year and a half ago, a massive infection in my eye that was really bad. And ever since then, my eye gets puffed up sometimes, and especially when have been sick. Anyway, so if I have a squinted eye, that's why. But really, I just wanted to make this video because I just made a list for myself, and I titled it Frustrations because I have a journal and I write in my journal. And instead of writing an actual, entry, I just wrote a bullet list of all these things because I have been sick with the flu for, well, it's now Sunday. I've been sick since Wednesday, and I'm starting to get over it. Last night I started to get over it a little bit, but my throat, still hurts. My eyeball is still all swollen and puffed, which doesn't even really have anything to do with it, but it's there nevertheless. Um, yeah, my body is not as achy, but I have like a massive headache, kind of related to my eye. So anyways, it's just frustrating. It's frustrating because I get sick so much, and that was kind of like the what caused me to come here and say this and write it and everything. It's just I just need to voice it, that I am freaking frustrated, about my health, and so many things about my health that I don't even know where to begin with it. Um, I finally, after many, 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 many years, came to the realization that I have this extreme sensory sensitivity. Um, and so it's always been there. But now that I recognize it, it makes a lot more sense. Certain things make more sense. And so with me, um, it's not just that I'm sick a lot, it's that I'm in pain pretty much every single day. Um, in some part of my body. So like what I just described, even though I'm not horribly sick right now, because I'm getting over it and I'm able to get up and I'm going to go run errands and do what I need to do, I still have like 3 or 4 parts of my body that are hurting me, that it's on my mind every minute of the day in some way that I'm in pain. Um, and it's like that most days of my life. It really is. And so people think of chronic pain as like, somebody that had back surgery and then they never, fully recovered from it and they always have pain. But I mean, there are other types of chronic pain too. And it sucks because the chronic pain that I have isn't even something that you can medicate necessarily. It's like I just have to live with it. And part of it is from being sick all the time. But part of it is because I have such a high sensory sensitivity to stuff that things that other people might not even necessarily feel that much is like 100 times magnified for me, and that makes it even more frustrating to me because people sometimes view you as like this faker or a malingerer because they don't understand that you genuinely are in pain. um, and all my life since I was a kid, going to the doctor, I would get dismissed when I would tell them about stuff that was going on, unless it was very obvious in like a lab test or something like that. Um, but most of the time when I come in with pain or, something that I know there is something wrong with me, they're just kind of like, they look at the most common thing, and when it's not the most common thing or the easiest thing, they just kind of shuffle you off. And so right now I have a doctor that I've had for about the last year and a half maybe, and I have a lot of chronic health problems, and so he has been kind of trying to help me narrow out these problems and figure out what are the cause of some of these problems, and how can we treat these problems. Um, which is more than I can say for, any doctor I've had in the last decade. So I'm appreciative of that. But at the same time, even he has said to me, like that I am the outlier, and I already know that I don't fit the norm. Here's the norm. And he specifically said it. He's like, you are like way over here. Like, you just, your case never fits what you would expect to see. And so it's very hard to figure out, where it's coming from or what is going on. And so that just compounds my frustration is that people do not understand. They don't know where to look. They just don't know. And it leaves me to kind of be the doctor, be the sleuth to try to figure out. And it's always been that way since I was a kid. That's why I have such an interest in medicine, and that's why I know so much about medicine and about the body and about just, all of that kinds of stuff. Way more than the average person, because I've spent so much time in doctor's offices and I've spent so much of my life sick, really without getting any answers most of the time. And so, I mean, that's part of the problem. But the other part of the problem is, like I say, just the experience, the day in, day out experience of feeling like there's a constant fog in my head. But I still have to get up and either go to work or, deal with my kids or do schoolwork or all of the things that I need to do that I have to do. And there's nobody with me to pick up the slack and to help me with those things. So it's really, really frustrating to try to be like going it alone, and feeling just terrible and miserable and stuff all the time. And, like I say, with the pain, just everything related to what I feel, they can't understand it. They can't understand and they can't relate. And so that's my other frustration is like, at least if it's something like, oh, I have the flu, other people can be like, oh yeah, I just recently had the flu too, so I understand, right? But when you tell people stuff like, that you can feel stuff happening inside your body, they don't even believe you. They do not even believe you. And that's frustrating in itself. And I know that it is true because I live it, but also my daughters have the same sensory sensitivity that I do. So whenever they get sick, it's like they can feel these like micro processes happening in their bodies, and so can I. When I recently got sick, it's like I could feel the virus in my lungs. Like, people don't believe it, but I can. All of these weird little things within my body that generally people don't feel. But because my senses are so heightened, here's the average person's, hearing, here's mine. It's like, it's not a good thing. I'm trying to function in a world that's meant, for people to sense this much with their sight and their hearing and their skin and all of that stuff. And I can feel and hear and see all of these things out here. And it's almost like my body cannot handle the extra sensory stuff. And I've done some reading on it a while ago, that it's not uncommon, I guess, for people who have really, really high sensory sensitivities to get sick a lot. And I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that some of the pain that I have and some of the illnesses that I have may just be a result of having a high sensory sensitivity, because the stuff affects me way, 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 way more than it would the average person. So if the average person can take, this much stuff and still not be sick, I can only take this much stuff before I become sick. And so it just makes me more susceptible to things. And it's just one more way I have to be on guard about stuff. And so that's frustrating because I can't just live an average life like an average person. I always have to be aware of where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I'm exposing myself to. Just everything about my body. It's a chore. It is a pain, and I don't enjoy just living most of the time because all the stuff other people take for granted, just eating, sleeping, sexual experiences, all these things that people enjoy, I have to be like super vigilant about them. And I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated that I can't just get up and live life like a normal person.